A few days ago, we had another first clear in Anti-Crime Network for DC Dark Legion, and I want to take you over to server 317 where Dizzletron has beaten the reconnaissance mission, which rewards you XP. This is a fight where you really need to have one or more single target damage dealers. There are going to be a couple of waves to the fight, and each fight is going to have one super powerful enemy. At the lower levels, especially for non-spenders and light spenders, you're going to be probably using Superman, Robin, if you're building the Bat family, to try to clear some of these nodes out. But at the higher levels, you're going to have to employ some different strategies from that. And as you'll see with Dizzletron's team here, we've got a little bit of a hyper carry here for Sinestro. Obviously, he's going to be using Scarecrow to try to protect the rest of the team and tank. And then you've got Superboy to buff attack and Flash to just try to cycle ultimates as many times as possible. Now, there is a new feature. You may not be aware of it, but you can actually view the full fights for these battles. So it's kind of nice. People aren't having to remember to record their videos and then send them over to me. I can just basically make an alt on the server and see the battles myself, or it's pretty easy to go in and take a look at your fight and record the recording. Now, I have noticed that some of these fights will actually show that you were defeated, but you weren't. Like there's some sort of a glitch to it. So not sure what we're going to get here, but we are going to take a look at it. And this is the only clear of level 45 for the reconnaissance mission. So it shows the lowest power server first and most recent, but they recently made it where depending on which level you're trying to beat, you can click on that level. And if you hit the strategy button, it's going to show you the lowest power clear for that level. It'll show you the server first clear and then the most recent clear. And you should be able to watch those battles to see how those people were able to do it. And I think in particular, what's going to be helpful here will be those lowest power clears, because you're obviously going to want to try to, use the most effective team possible at the lowest star. If we go to level 45, we can go back to Dizzletron's team here, and you just click on that little button. It shows that he was using the Superman rocket, and we've already looked at the team. We can take a look at the force here. Again, I just want to give the caveat, as with some of the videos that we featured, Arcalux teams, these are heavily invested champions. It's going to take massive amounts of money to get to this point, or massive amounts of time, at least, I would say. I'm sure there will be people over time who are able to clear the max level with much lower invested teams. But I just want to feature what has been done so far. Looking at the force, obviously, he's got every champion's force fully maxed out. We've got the Starfire, Starbolts, really popular for people to use that on non-healers to try to give a little bit of extra healing to the team. It also makes it a lot easier to not have to bring a healer to a fight, and that's what is being done here. So Flash is going to provide a decent amount of additional healing to the team. Starbolts is at 5 blue stars. We've got Superboy, including his guitar, which is at 5 yellow stars. We've got Scarecrow using the horn at 5 red, Sinestro using a 5 yellow ring, and then Joker using 5 blue scepter. And this scepter, I wonder if this is probably one of the keys to being able to beat this fight, because the scepter was buffed recently to provide a little bit of additional attack, not just for Joker, but also for all the teammates as well. And I will point out that both Sinestro and Joker have the 5 set bonuses at play, so you're definitely going to be much more difficult to build than pretty much anyone in the game can do right now. There's like a handful of people who have even just one champion at the 5 set bonus. So let's take a look and see. So we got Energy Surge. So with Energy Surge, after the start of the battle, the champion is going to gain 2 energy per second. after 15 seconds will increase ultimate damage by 60% until the end of the battle. So incredibly effective for Sinestro, being able to do that single target damage, giving him a massive amount of additional damage as the battle wears on. And that additional energy is going to help him cycle his ultimate for the first couple of times that he does it a lot faster. And then for Joker, we've got Battle Ready. Battle Ready after the start of the battle, Joker will gain 3% attack and 5% physical and spiritual defense every 5 seconds, stacking up to 25 times and lasting until the end of the battle. After 30 seconds, increased damage dealt by 60%. So as the battle wears on, again, Joker is going to do more and more damage, and he's already ramping his damage as the battle goes on anyway. We talked about that a lot with Combat Cycle and why he's such a good champion for longer fights. And so this Battle Ready just makes him that much stronger. Technology fully maxed out. So for stats over here, you can see that actually Joker is not the one doing most of the damage here. I mentioned as part of the strategy for this particular fight, you need someone who can do heavy single target damage because you're going to have a few different waves that are going to hit you, and you need to be able to take those waves out in rapid succession, or you're just going to time out. Even if you have champions that are capable of beating each wave, you have to do it fast enough to get through. Let's go ahead and load this battle up. And we're starting out with Superman. You can see where he's trying to get off the Superboy ult as many times as possible, and using Flash on Sinestro. Definitely how you're going to be able to do as much damage as you possibly can here. Probably going to see Flash continue to ult onto Sinestro. And this is always really nice setup where you have Sinestro's ultimate and Flash's ultimate ready, because you can get 2 ults off with your Sinestro. Every time that Scarecrow does his ultimate, he's going to be granting additional spiritual power for Sinestro to be able to do his attack. Everything really just ramps over to Sinestro so they can do a massive amount of damage. And that's pretty much it. Really cool to see that we've got another first clear here. Just wanted to showcase this with you guys. Again, I realize this is not something that most people are going to be able to utilize, but I do think the strategy itself is something that you'll be able to employ. And, you know, some of these champions are definitely accessible for non-spenders. I think that Flash is a champion. I actually just did a deep dive video on Flash, and I think he's one that's definitely going to offer you a lot of utility for being able to cycle the ultimate of one of your single target damage dealers. I mentioned Green Arrow earlier. That's a champion that you can definitely start with at some of the lower levels. If you do invest into Sinestro, he's going to be a champion that you'll want to be using here also. Superboy is a champion that, regardless of whether you build Superman family, you probably should be at least trying to get a couple of copies of Superboy, and he's going to be able to help you ramp damage as well. So you kind of have the makings here in this team of the best support possible for trying to ramp single target damage. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to take a couple of lessons away from this video and implement them into the build that you have so that you can push through and try to get your XP as high as possible. Let me know in the comments down below what team you have had the most success with in the XP section of Anti-Crime Network. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You'll get notified anytime I put out new DC Dark Legion content. I usually try to do between 3 and 5 videos per week. And if not, I hope to see you on the next video.